All right, let's head over to the studios here. We have two studios. The small one, we use this for two things. This the WAVE-3 sunrise, 6 to 7 a.m. If you've ever watched that, you notice we have the couches and the books. Good morning, I'm Larry Nobles. Is that what he sounds like? These are all fake books back here. This is a fake set. I can't pull these books out. They're all fake. We have a small area here where they do some odds and ends. If there's any big things, like you've seen, they have dancing and bands playing sometimes. They do that in the other studio. This is a working kitchen. Gen Air range here. Water. But it is a fake refrigerator. I can't open it up. This is all fake right here. There's no oven here. So we'll call it half of a working kitchen there. We have the mirror so that, the camera will point up to the mirror and overhead to show you what's cooking on the stove there. Tom does the weather over here in the morning, the blue chroma key wall. Here's his mark on the floor to stand right there. And the camera will be set up there, so he'll be looking right this way. And if the blue wall is back a few feet. Got a light, backlight it's called, that lights the key wall, plus all these other lights are on. And then he'll look at the monitors there to tell where to point. Also in the studio, we do the WAVE-3 news on the hour. The anchor person sits here. You see these fake TV screens in the background. And the camera is kind of like right over this way, shooting down that way. So that's a small studio. Let's go over to the big studio. I'll show you a real quick peek. We have, this is just a garage, and there's all sorts of props for different shows like High Q, so forth and so on that are stored back there. And we have a huge, we're not going to go down there, but there's a huge storage area down in the basement. This is the new studio. Let's start in this area here. The lights are turned off. I don't know if you can see it too well, but this is where we tape shows like High Q or do some commercials or interview programs. We do that in this part. Here is the weather part for the noon and the weekend weather when we're inside. Our weather key wall here with the monitors to look at. This is kind of like a fake weather center here. It's we can look at the radar. We have a TV screen. Here's you notice this on the air. See how official that looks? It's just a fake thing there. So, what people at home don't know is not going to hurt them. Here's a computer. It's not working. Here's something on it from about 3 years ago. But it looks nice on camera. That's the whole thing, because we have all our equipment in the other room. 3 cameras here. They're turned off right now. But again, they're going to be setting up for the news here. The backgrounds, once it starts getting light at 6 o'clock again, we'll have the daytime background of the city, and then they have the nighttime one. So there's like a shade there. They'll pull up and down between the newscasts. The monitor, or the anchors, here, let's go back this way. So here's where Jackie sits. She has a monitor here to look at, like when tape is playing. Besides, reading her copy, she can keep track of monitors there. Bob's got one for sports there. And when we do a live shot, they'll sit here and turn to the monitor, and whoever's doing the live shot will pop up in this monitor. But we have another TV set down there to look at, so they can make sure when they are on TV, just what the camera angle is. So we have TVs all over the place here. Well, what would you expect in a TV station? So that's pretty much the studio here. Here's the lighting, the lights on and off here. More lights, lighting panel here. Here's the teleprompter where we run the copy through on the air, and it pops up on the screen here, and it pops up in their camera, so they can look at the camera. It looks like they've memorized their news at home, where instead they're looking at something exactly like that. So that is pretty much the main part of the station. There's a lot of offices and things like that. And I'll tell you what, I'll take you out in the backyard when I'm doing the weather in a little bit. How's that? Sometimes I make last-minute things, like when I saw that tower cam view, that's very pretty, that was kind of unusual, that clearing line, and how it showed up in the satellite picture all the way across country. So what I'm going to do right now is go tell Rick, the director, in just a minute, that I'm going to add I'm going to key the tower camera onto my weather map in the middle of the weather show. My original format I turned in, I wasn't going to use a tower cam, but it's such an unusual-looking shot that if it's bright enough, because I know the sun sets right before 6, if it's bright enough, I'm going to go ahead and add that in the weather show for tonight.
Prize Award for Best Newscast. WAVE-TV News at 6 is next. With Don Schroeder, Jackie Hayes, Meteorologist John Belski, and Sports with Bob Dominic.
Good evening. Jackie has the night off. The Earth moved this afternoon in Kentucky and Indiana. The National Earthquake Center says the earthquake in Kentuckiana registered 3.8 on the Richter scale. The experts say the quake centered about 30 miles west of Louisville in the Corridor area. The tremor was felt in southern Indiana and in Kentucky, primarily in Meade and Jefferson counties. But it was so small, no one seemed concerned.
Well, it sounds like artillery went off because I've been cough up most of the money under the Wilkinson proposal, have broken through, and they're trying to distort the facts.
Tomorrow. Both houses in Indianapolis are expected to work tomorrow until midnight. Henry Lee Brown, the man police say murdered his girlfriend, has filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Louisville. Brown says a police officer is the real murderer. Addis says it was restructuring that had promised to keep the headquarters of Brown and Williamson, which it owns, in Louisville. Brown and Williamson employs 1,000 people here. 200 new jobs are coming to Scottsburg, Indiana. 3 Japanese companies are working together to build a plant in Scottsburg that will make steel cores for steel belt and brick and tires. Production should start by next year.
Well, Jeffrey Hutter, who's running against Ron Mazzoli for U.S. Congress, is blasting his opponent for recent mailings. Hutter told reporters today the newsletter Mazzoli sent to 200,000 3rd District residents is more political than legislative. He called on Mazzoli to reimburse the federal treasury $30,000, which is the estimated cost of mailing the newsletter. Mazzoli regularly mails the newsletter, but Hutter says he should stop during the campaign if he's going to use your money. Congressman Mazzoli told me from Washington this afternoon that there's nothing political about the newsletter, and it was checked by a nonpartisan board before it was mailed out.
Yesterday, the golfers were complaining.
We had our snow last month, and I love snow, but I don't care if it snows another flake because we had a white Christmas.
We did.
So.
What a sentimental guy you are.
That's me, good old sentimental John here. Now, as I say that, we do have some snow flakes in the forecast, and I'll tell you about that coming up in a couple of minutes.
Wave 3 News.
Evening in progress out here. I'll tell you what, it's so cold in December, so warm in January. I'm afraid February is going to end up being a cold month. We will be getting the official forecast of that coming up in about 1 week. Right now, let's go to the beach for our super snapshot sent in from Mary Ann and John O'Brien of Louisville. And the seagulls are at the beach at a place called in the Atlantic, which is not in the Atlantic, it's just on the Atlantic near Melbourne, Florida. Thanks, folks, for sending that in. Not quite beach-like numbers here, but super for January. 54 degrees right now, southeast breeze 9 miles per hour, humidity 40%, and the barometer falling 29.83. Almost made it to 60 today, 59 the official high, 44 the low temperature this morning. And everybody in the 50s around Kentucky and Indiana at this hour, except Evansville, still hanging in there with a current temperature of 60 degrees. Now, I'll show you the tower camera view. If you looked up at the clouds this afternoon, it was kind of strange. We had this clearing line right overhead. This is looking toward the northwest, and clear skies to the north of Louisville. We have clouds here, and this long clearing line has been with us all day long. At least we had enough sunshine to make it a beautiful day. Now let me show you the satellite view, and look at this clearing line. It stretches from Portland, Maine, through Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, right through Louisville, down through about Little Rock, right through about Dallas. So all these cities experiencing the same type of sky that we are this afternoon. Well, some rain on the way for very little bit of snow in the forecast for early tomorrow evening. Just a little bit. I'm afraid that trend will continue, except it could be the opposite extreme a few weeks down the road. Okay, this is our weather map here. It's a blue chroma key. The camera is tuned so it cannot pick up this color blue, and then they can put in the maps with the radar, and I just have to be careful that I don't wear this color blue or I'd be the invisible man on the air. And just like inside, we have the monitors here off to the side so I can watch the top one on the air to tell which way to point. Nice landscaping out here. It's midwinter, but we still have a lot of greenery, and we have people from Frank Oddie Nursery that come around and will plant flowers
hours in springtime and summertime and keep it real nice. And they do all the work, so I don't have to come out here and pull any weeds or anything like that. But, you know, if any of you want to help out sometime, just give me a call and you can come over and help me pull some weeds. Photographer over in the gazebo there, protected from the rain. And the camera actually goes in at night, but between shows, they'll close that little curtain down there so the weather doesn't get hurt. And also the tower, home of the tower camera, right in the corner of the studio, and it's about 135 feet tall. They are turning off the lights out here in the backyard right now. These are kind of like stadium lights. You can see it's getting darker and darker and darker because with this chroma key effect, you need very bright lights for that to work. And so we have, I don't know how many watts this would be, but we're talking about thousands and tens of thousands of watts out here. It's like playing, you know, out in Cardinal Stadium at nighttime. But they're off now because the bulbs don't last long and we don't keep them on all evening. There's that rectangular thing to the left as you look straight up. It's kind of like a rectangular box. It's sticking way off the end. Can you see which one I'm talking about? There's like a black dish. The tower camera is like just to the left of that. It's on a little pedestal and I'll swing back and forth because I've got it pointed toward downtown and I just showed that on the air. And then this tower is used for, that very top dish up there is the microwave relay that relays the signal to the tower up in the knobs. In fact, we just had to change that. The new building downtown that's got that roof-type setting, Corporate Plaza, blocked our signal from here to the knobs. So we beam our signal over to University Hospital, and then it beams up to the knobs, and then is transmitted out to around the area then.
Do that and guarantee the full refund if they couldn't. Academic Financial couldn't, and Mr. Cole wrote, my fee has not been refunded. That's why I'm writing you. Well, I wrote the company, Mr. Cole. Refund. A warning here. Information on scholarships and grants is available to students free from their schools or through the library. Use those sources and steer clear of companies that require you to pay. Having trouble getting what you ordered? Right. Post Office Box 32970, Louisville. I'll be glad to help.
Hark! There is proof of Mike Tyson going down in a sparring match yesterday with Louisville former heavyweight champion Greg Page. Here it is, a black and white photo from Tokyo, where Tyson is trained for next month's fight with Buster Douglas. Page put Tyson down near the end of the 3-round sparring match. Tyson bounced up quickly, appeared a little embarrassed. You might call the Kentucky Wildcats the Road Warriors might be more like it as they head into Auburn tonight.
Well, if you like today, will they like tomorrow?
No. Tomorrow's one of those backwards days. You know, it starts off warm and then temperature goes down. But it does that quite often this time of year, and tomorrow's our next turn for that to happen. In the meantime, a few showers tonight. The rain will be light here, a quarter of an inch or less. An inch of rain possible southeast Kentucky, east Tennessee, but nothing heavy here. At the bus stop in the morning, some showers, or it may actually be over by early morning. Rain will be in the process of ending, 47 degrees, but about 35 by this time tomorrow night, so it will be going down.
Go again.
Yeah, pull them out of the closet.
All right, John, thanks.
That's nice.
NBC Night News is next.
Not quite as dramatic as the whales, but...
Well, I'll go through that much close. Where are they?
Well, now you've seen how things are run behind the scenes. I hope you've enjoyed our tour. I know I have. Join me again in the next part of my series broadcast in the 1990s when we'll interview John Belski and talk about some of the things that we've seen today. Maybe you can explain some things a little bit better that maybe you didn't understand, and maybe we can get some insight on some of the behind-the-scenes things that you didn't get to see on this little tour that we had. And also, join us in the 5th part of our series coming up here in just a few weeks, where we'll be taking a tour of the studio that you see here at WNAS. We'll be taking a tour of the radio and TV studios, and also talking to General Manager Lee Kelly about how things are run around here. So join us then. Until then, I'm Lawrence Easton for Broadcasting in the 1990s. Thank you for joining us.